Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Sonia. Today, I felt the need to talk about like unwitchy things or ways about me. Because witchcraft to me is not living with the whole aesthetic as my life. Okay? My room is witchy. When I need it, I come in here. And of course, I do witchcraft. So being a witch is my practice. It's what I do. But I have other aspects to my life. Okay. So probably not too many people know that I've always wanted to live in an old white farmhouse. I not a new build. No. I want the 50 to 100-year-old house with the add-ins through the years and the add-ons through the years. You know, I want 2 stories. You know, I want this front staircase and I want that back staircase. And an attic. I want a wraparound porch with a swing on either end and the back screened in for a sleeping porch. I wanted the barn, a pond with the dock that you walk out on and fish. I want the cows, I want the goats, I wanted the chickens, a couple of horses, a donkey or 2. It never happened for me. But to me, all of that was a peaceful life. I like vintage, antiques, and I love the color white on old wood and metal with that chippiness about it, you know. That is proof of a life that was well lived. Stuff that was used. I like rust on things. If I find something rusty in an antique store, their store, on the dirt even, you know, I love it. Then I also like an old sock box, you know, red, black, you know, with all of the colonial aspects of making do. When I saw the Coven House of American Horror Story, I think I was probably one of the few who admired all of that white behind the power of the witches, who were probably supposed to be like the main visual, okay? But I saw the power of the antiques. That was the background that stood out in this stark minimalism of all white with this southern genteel feel about it. And then there was practical magic. And I saw that beautiful white farmhouse. And you got the, you know, the kitchen, and you got the herb on the other side of the kitchen, and the fresh baked bread that was in that bowl sitting on the kitchen island. All the natural wood aspects, you know, the carved wooden, the staircase, the attic. Decades of inherited antiques. Now I know this wasn't a real place, but it was the decor. Okay? In neither one of those houses did you see any kind of anything that was witchy. Okay? Now, I've sat with different decor over many years in my life. I've went from color saturation, I've done minimalism, I've done boho, and what we call that witchy aspect. That can come several different ways there now. It can come with that natural look, all of the dried stuff everywhere, the plants, all of that. Or it can come with the consumerism of witchy aspects that we learn to identify as being witchy and then decide is what we need to be considered a witch at all. And I feel sometimes that others are judged for not having that recognized witchy aspect around them all the time. But honestly, so much of that can leave me like very overstimulated. Okay? But you give me the antiques, the vintage, the natural wood, the chippy white, the repurposed stuff that doesn't even belong in a house, but you hang it on a wall. I have it's a saw. It's an old saw. I don't remember. I don't really know. I can't think of what you call it. But it's a huge saw, crossbuck or something like that. And I have my grandmother's quilt folded over it, and it hangs on the wall. Stuff like that. It's just like, I just like it. Okay? I watch a lot of crafting videos on YouTube. The Dollar Tree, the repurposing junk, the upcycling thrift store finds, all of that. And honestly, I will usually watch more of those types of things than I will a deck unboxing or walkthroughs, because they are overstimulating. I love to do needlework. Let me pull this. It's under my camera stand. I'm working on something right now. You see all those tiny itty bitty little squares? This is like, ugh. This material has a name and I can't think of it, but this is usually what you will find, what they call primitive needlework done on that. There's all my embroidery floss. Okay, I do a lot of that. Now, my hands and eyes do not enjoy it as much as my head and my heart. And we argue. I love the aspect of slow living. I love making food from scratch. I love sitting on a porch, shelling beans or shucking corn, and remembering my grandparents and other ancestors of mine, and feeling them sit there right beside me as I do this. Like criticizing you on the way you're doing it. Watching the sunrise and set with a cup of coffee. A cup of coffee in the morning, maybe some herbal tea in the evening. I love being a grandma to my grandkids. I don't like the age that comes with it, but I like the aspect of it. And I will keep them for their mother to go do her little job that she needs to make a little bit extra money at her age, to make her feel like she's contributing and to have her extra money. And I don't want to be paid for that. I've actually had, people ask me, well, what does she pay you? Does she pay you? No. Why do I want to be paid to spend time with my grandchildren? I like to plan and celebrate holidays with my family. I like the planning what I'm going to cook. I like planning the dessert. I like planning games to play. I love to clean, usually. There are times when I'm just like, but it has to be cleaned. I know this. It has to be organized. And also to decorate my home. And I get real angry when someone on one of the platforms on social media, doesn't really matter, wants to call out women and call them trad wives, for doing these activities, cooking for their families, taking care of their families. My husband's a truck driver, and he's maybe home 4 times in a whole year. And that is maybe because he's either driving through, so it's an overnight. It could be 3 days to a week. Who the fuck else is supposed to do it? So, my question is, why do you want to be angry all the time about nearly every aspect of normal daily living? Like, why does it fill you with so much anger that a woman wants to take care of her family? There are more important issues in this world than worrying about whether a woman wants to, cook and clean and take care of her children and stuff like that. Worry about other things, okay? There's other things that need more anger, not that. Because every woman in every culture, in every time period, has taken care of their home and family. Nearly everyone. There are some exceptions. I was also, at one point in my life, heavily into homesteading and self-sufficiency. I have a whole Pinterest board, and that's another thing. Leave Pinterest alone. If you don't like it, fine. I don't care. I've had my Pinterest boards for years, and they are not barely minimum anything having to do with clothes, nothing to do with makeup at all. There's none of that. I don't have any kind of wedding boards. Like, please. My opinion is that, honestly, everyone should at least know how to live off the land and survive. At least have some books or read about it or something, because we aren't promised anything. Nothing. I don't do any kind of past life stuff. I already know who I was. Not specifically who, okay? But time period wise. Because here's a tip. Walk into an antique store, several antique stores that carry numerous time periods, okay? Museums even. Egyptian ones, colonial ones, the whole 9 yards, all of them. Any of those type of places with the different time periods. What draws your eye? What makes you cry? What makes you angry when you see it? Things that give you an emotion that seems to come out of nowhere. That's all I need to know. Okay? I don't need someone to tell me that I was just another Cleopatra. Okay? That woman lived one time. And we all can't be her. That makes me laugh more than anything else. Oh, I can just see her rolling her eyes like, God, another one. So yeah. That's sitting and thinking about some things that, some people would not see as witchy. They're unwitchy. Can you make any of them witchy? Of course you can. But do they all have to be? Why can't they just be you? I'm just a woman who does witchcraft. And under that title is a whole lot of, that label is a whole lot of different things that not all of us see as witchcraft. Okay? Because we don't all do the same things and call them witchcraft. So, just some food for thought. Some things I was thinking about needed to get out of my head, and this is how I get them out of my head. Unwitchy things about me. Until next video, I'll see you then.